Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. We got some breaking news for you guys as the Vikings are officially trading for Jordan Mason, San Francisco 49ers running back, and a bit of a shocker move. I did not see the Vikings trading for a running back before the NFL draft. So coming up on today's show, we'll talk about the full trade details. The Vikings actually are giving him an extension as well as a part of this deal. And then also, I'll just explain to you guys why I'm a big fan of this move. I think Jordan Mason will add a sense of physicality to this running game, which the Vikings have not had since Kevin O'Connell has been the head coach. That has been my biggest gripe, is that offensively we are too much of a finesse football team. But now all these moves we're making this offseason, I mean, Vikings are going to be a physical bunch on that side of the field. So I'm a big fan of this move. Get you the full details. How does this impact the draft and just on the field, how this will work here in a second. But quickly, friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button. We just crossed over 54,000 subscribers the other day. So thank you guys so much for that. I was kind of joking around on a show earlier. I said, all right, we just did 54K for Eric Kendricks. Now let's go do 55K for his boy, Anthony Barr. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button for one of my favorite players of all time for the Minnesota Vikings, Mr. Anthony Barr, who, by the way, Anthony Barr, he would be a perfect scheme fit with Brian Flores. That versatility at the linebacker position, he would be nasty. Just a little side note there. But hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and let's dive into this Jordan Mason trade. So the Minnesota Vikings are sending a 2026 sixth-round pick. This is the same sixth-round pick that they traded to the Texans for Cam Akers, and then they followed that up by trading Ed Ingram to the Houston Texans for this sixth-round pick, and now it's heading to San Francisco. So who knows? Maybe the sixth-round pick will be back with the Minnesota Vikings. But you are also doing a pick swap this year, so it's a sixth-round pick and number 160 of this year's draft, and the Niners are giving us back 187. So you fall 27 spots in the draft. You attach on a sixth-round pick for next season. So listen, it's not a lot of draft capital you're giving up whatsoever. And apparently the Niners were shopping Jordan Mason as well. But you are also giving him a 2-year, $7 million deal, up to $12 million in extension. So, the one thing, and we can start on the field here, and then we'll talk about, why I don't think the Vikings will draft the running back anymore. Number one thing I love about this, physicality. He is a physical runner because the last 3 seasons under KOC, they have been awesome. I have no gripes. Nothing, too critical, I would have to say. But I will also say that he has never had a physicality to his offense. And, when you have like all these weapons on the outsides, like the Jeffersons, the Addisons, all this, like you're obviously not going to be a physical downhill football team. But I think we're seeing this offseason as KOC, some self-awareness is being shown. He's looking at himself in the mirror, and he probably just saw the Eagles, who they also have 2 great weapons on the outside. They got a great tight end in Dallas Goedert. They are still the most physical football team in the National Football League, even our division rival, like the Detroit Lions. They got Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams, they got Sam Laporta, but they are still a very physical football team up front. And I'm not saying Jordan Mason's going to come in here and completely, turn it on its head, where the Vikings are like a smash mouth downhill football team. But with the additions of Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, guys who obviously love to run the football as most offensive linemen do, I think we should see a more physical football team with Jordan Mason. So, and also solid 1-2 punch with Aaron Jones. Like Aaron Jones, obviously he's just a more talented running back here. Get him in space. He can catch the football at a high level. And then Jordan Mason's just like, hey, offset I formation to the left, to the right, or just straight up I. And we're just turning that football around and handing it to the big fella. But he, total stats on the year last season, he had 153 carries for 789 yards, 5.2 yards per clip there. Had 3 touchdowns. He's got 7 touchdowns total in his NFL career on 236 carries. So maybe he'll be the goal line back, which I'm probably guessing now. Shout out to Mitchell Renz for this one, just adding this in my notes here. He is a below average pass blocker, which is a little concerning because the Vikings were running C.J. Ham as their third down pass catcher last year, so I would have liked them to get a guy who could be that third down scat back and also great in blitz pickup. But then again, those guys are, pretty hard to find. But listen, this is just I don't even know how to describe this move for the Vikings. This is a low risk, obviously, even though I still hate trading draft picks, even though I know it's a 6th-round pick, but still with how limited it is. This is like a low risk, don't want to say high reward, probably say around medium reward, but you could potentially have one of the better 1-2 punches in the National Football League with Jones and Jordan Mason. So coming up here in a sec, I'll talk about what I think this means for the NFL draft and why the Vikings probably won't draft a running back. But before we do so, if you guys could grade the trade for me down below in the comments section, give me an A, B, C, D, or F. You guys let me know your thoughts. I'd probably give this a B. Solid move. Not going to get too over the moon about it, but you got a solid running back. And I think he's going to make a good 1-2 punch with Aaron Jones. So you guys let me know, A, B, C, D, or F. Alrighty, let's talk about the bad news is what I'll call it on this trade. So I originally, when the first wave of free agency came and went, and the Vikings bolstered up both the defensive line and offensive line, they were able to bring back Byron Murphy. I was sitting here and I was just saying, man, they could really go BPA in the first round. And I was thinking a guy like Amari Hampton, if he's there, I would be okay with taking him, considering how loaded this running back draft class is. And that's why it's a little concerning, this move for Kwesi, because he is such a, Moneyball-esque NFL GM where he's trying to get the, most value out of everything. Like, that's just the sicko he is. And I'm shocked that with the Vikings having such a limited draft capital, that Kwesi is kind of just sitting there and trading for a running back and not going to use one of those picks on a running back, considering how deep and how talented this draft class is. People are talking like this could be the greatest running back draft class of all time. Like, it's got the top end talent with Hampton, Genty, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, and then you also got a ton of depth with Ollie Gordon, Devin Neal. So I'm not saying it completely throws them out of the drafting a running back kind of sweepstakes here, but it's not going to be in the first round, I'll tell you what. Probably won't be in the third. Maybe if they like an Ollie Gordon in the fifth, you just need more depth there. Maybe they try to go get a scat back like RJ Harvey or something. But I probably would say this takes them out of drafting a running back. Now, I guess if I had to give you guys my dream draft target right now, put myself on the spot here. I'm still leaning Kenneth Grant. I know we upgraded our defensive line heavily, but, Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, they're two older guys, so get that young cat, Kenneth Grant, for the future in there. I would be in on that. There's something about Nick Eamon-Worry, and I don't know if I'm just falling for the RAS score and I just see the perfect 10 and he's 6'4" or 6'3", 225, whatever he is, runs a 4.39, just a freak athlete. He's DK Metcalf playing safety, and I just can envision Brian Flores working with that guy, and I'm like, he would be an all-pro. Like, I promise you that. Like, if we got Eamon-Worry, I would be so confident Brian Flores getting the most out of him. And also, little tinfoil hat theory here on Nick Eamon-Worry being a Viking. Brian Flores, we got lucky. He remained the defensive coordinator this year. Who is probably the biggest, I'm going to say prospect you have to mold for a defensive coordinator in this year's draft over a couple of years? It's Eamon-Worry. Maybe the Vikings want to keep Flores happy and just be like, hey, you see that ultra talented, that hyper athlete safety from South Carolina? We're going to go get him. Why don't you stick around a couple of years and try to develop him and turn him into one of the best safeties in the National Football League? So I'm going to guess the Vikings don't draft the running back now. A little disappointing. Probably the only bad side of this trade. But the Vikings just got that notification right there. 4 draft picks this upcoming year. Lowest out of any team. So the draft won't be too much fun. But, hey, they're making moves in free agency. They're trying to improve this roster. Still, like the move. Just give it a B. Solid. Not going to get too over the moon about it. Not going to crush it at all, because I do think Jordan Mason's a solid running back. So if you guys could, hit that subscribe button on your way out. See you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.